How we doing? It's been a while. It's been about 3 months since my last session. Hope you guys haven't missed me too long. I am ready to admit that I have missed doing this. This episode today is going to serve as a little bit of an outlet for me to talk about some of the things that have been on my mind recently, and given the circumstances of Corona and a couple of other things that are kind of damaging the world a little bit. It's important to talk about some of these issues and to kind of recognize what we're dealing with as we go forward. Today's session, I do want to talk a little bit about a theme that I've been trying to stick to after having had a couple conversations, seeing a couple things, and how they developed over the last couple of months, I guess, just to see, what is the most important thing to do right now. And I believe that most important thing right now is to, in fact, take it easy. And so, as you can see over here on my left side, I've got a record by the Eagles, with the first song being one of their most famous songs, originally written by Jackson Browne, one of my favorite artists, fellow West Coast singer-songwriter from the 70s. Take it easy. It's so easy right now to get caught up with all this negativity, and I'm sure that the stress levels are really going out of bounds and over everyone's head. And it's you can tell it's coming forward in people's attitudes and some of their daily aspects of life. And so I just want to serve this as a small reminder that it's okay to go through these feelings, but it's also important to recognize when you are going overboard and how to kind of work those problems out and try to mellow the situation out too. So I want to go ahead and play this song right here. The lyrics not entirely pertain to everyone's situation, but the general idea is what's most important. So please just take a couple minutes and hear this one out. Thank you. Okay, let's talk about some current things. We had a lot of developments recently, I think worldwide especially. We've seen some pretty or just a lot of misfortune happening in the States, which is one of the countries that I believe a lot of places look towards or look to for some leadership or guidance. And to see the current situation deteriorating on a pretty rapid scale is a little bit surprising. And I do want to talk about a couple of things that pertain to that situation. And we've seen a couple of major issues concerning racism. Obviously, with the pandemic situation going on, we see a lot of problems with having, the ability to contain the issue. Once again, there's no need to get political, but there is a lack of leadership that definitely reflects on the country's current state of being. And it's not an individual effort. That has to be understood. And there's so many things that people all over the world, whether no matter what kind of social class or what kind of line of work you're dealing with, that can contribute to society in the most basic form possible. And I want to talk a little bit about Tokyo and what's going on out here. We did see a 2-month emergency state going on in the city where the governor asked everyone to stay home, a lot of remote workers, and so you see trains that are completely empty, streets that are normally packed with people, looking like ghost towns, restaurants shut, of course, places where you might seek a little bit more comfort, such as bars and stuff like that, also currently or now finally coming back to life, but during that time not operating. And it's probably a combination of all those things that accumulates this unnatural lifestyle that leads to discomfort and a little bit of stress. And so I want to talk a little bit about something that we might be able to look forward to finally the revival of worldwide sports, and to be able to watch a team, or I guess anything that you want to root for, or something that can help represent your feelings, to see the team that you are really wanting to win that championship, or to lead the numbers in whatever category. To be able to finally see that and get behind it is definitely a huge support mentally and emotionally. So thank goodness that's back. It's only a matter of time before we can actually finally go see that live in action. Until then, we'll have to stay at home and watch it from a little bit further away. But still, being able to kind of get behind it is a huge thing. Thank goodness for that. So as far as Tokyo is going, we did see a pretty rapid improvement of the situation and what's been going on, as far as the nightlife and just general work all around. What we have seen in the last couple weeks, though, is the, I guess, resurgence of the virus, and a couple of more less favorable numbers as far as the cases and growth in cases, which I think has a direct impact on how people are going about their lives daily. I think, and these are all just my thoughts, so anything I say isn't necessarily the truth, or please hold me accountable, because the only reason I'm saying this is because I feel strongly about it. But these are just ideas that you're free to either join me in thinking, or to choose to disagree with. As long as you're thinking, that's all I really care about. What I have been seeing, and for those of you that don't know much about me, I do work in an industry of the nightlife. I work as a bartender, and it's actually been quite curious. I have noticed the immense accumulation of customers that either have complaints, get emotionally defensive, as well as unfortunately emotionally unstable. And of course, it's the influence of alcohol that can lead to some of these things, but I believe it's something a little bit deeper than that. There's been a huge rise in the number of customers that end up crying at the bar over any kind of situation, whether it regards a relationship with a significant other, something that pertains to work, or some other issues that might be going on with their families, et cetera, et cetera. I also have seen people arguing a little bit more often, and having this complexion of unhappiness. And I think that it's important that we talk about some of the ways that we might be able to battle those ideas or those feelings. And I think it all begins with, once again, how you can contribute to society and try to mellow out those bad confrontations. And so I was thinking over the past couple of days, after having seen this kind of go on and on and on with just the next day after the other, you get one customer who's upset or another customer that's crying. And it's not necessarily, please don't believe that the staff are making people cry. We don't do that. It's the conversation they're having with the people next to them, or with the person they came together with. And I tried to understand why people are getting so upset, or people are kind of letting go of these emotions also suddenly. And I think that it's the accumulation of stress, or maybe just this inability to release these emotions anywhere else. And where you would usually, if everything goes back to what we would consider normal, you would be able to go to a gym and crank out those abs so that you can feel better, get that stress out. You might be able to go drinking with your friends, go clubbing, dance the night out, whatever. But with the lack of those possibilities, it's becoming more and more difficult for people to find these outlets. And I was trying to think of what are some healthy outlets that people can get behind to really just kind of become a stronger person, as well as releasing some of those negative just energies. So I came up with a small list, and I was also just thinking to myself, it's so easy to get carried away, say things that you don't really necessarily mean, or things that you don't usually say, to become emotionally more defensive, and even maybe what's the word here? Vulnerable, I guess, to arguments, et cetera, et cetera. So I was just thinking, you have time on your hands now. There's no doubt about it. Whether you're remote working or they've shaved a couple hours off of your daily schedule, use that time to do something that you might never have done before. Translate this opportunity into a challenge. You can learn to play a piano, a guitar. Okay, that's very obvious. We got all kinds of cool stuff going on behind me, but it's not that hard. You can find things for relatively cheap, and to actually invest in something that could bring about some better products, as far as just mental stability or just health. And so whether that's musical, artistic, if you want to get into cooking, or exercise, anything, there's so many ways that you can challenge yourself. And upon challenging yourself and being able to see that progress, or see some of the products of your hard work, you definitely will feel a lot better about yourself, as well as maybe even before you know it, you might become an even stronger person, and be a little less susceptible to these negative ideas. So find your healthy outlet, whatever it is. A little bit of writing, a little bit of reading, a little bit of education never hurt anybody. And it's important that we continue to grow and not just try to accept what's going on and deal with it as it goes. There's always ways that you can think forward and try to learn from what's going on now, so that the next couple of weeks or next month, and hopefully not, but next couple of years, won't be as difficult to deal with. It's a cool sound. So I think it's important that you understand the situation. This is a very confusing time for many of us, and myself included. I'm still relatively young, so it's easy for me to say these things in a very naive way. But I do think that I speak for a lot of people when this is the first time we've ever been really involved or been confronted with a pandemic situation, or something that really knocks you on your knees without much of a ladder to get out of this hole that we've kind of dug ourselves, if you will. But because this is what we're all going through, it's also important to understand that it's not just us by ourselves. And the more that you can be supportive and try to help others that might need more help than yourself, that's when things will start going better. And it starts with listening and understanding and trying to just give people a chance to kind of clear what they're saying. And it doesn't mean just to hear what they're saying, but to truly try to understand and give those voices some thought. It's probably the most important thing that's going on in the States as far as what we see with these racial issues. I was watching a couple of YouTube videos, and you see it all over social media, but it's the same thing over and over again. Just listen to be understood. And I love music, and so something that I've been trying to do a little bit better is to dig into the roots of just the history of how these voices have come about, and whether it's in the lyrics or just the emotion of the music or the melody, there's so much that you can get out of it. I was listening to some old tunes, jazz, a little bit of doo-wop, and especially soul. But man, you have to accept it. It's been said over and over and over again, and these issues they continue to say the same. We can listen to it as entertainment, but it's a little bit more meaningful when you can draw some parallels to the current situations of what's going on, and I think it's always important to try to understand a little bit deeper. It might not be easy at first, there's no doubt, but the more you give it, some thought, and I guess you practice these senses. They say practice makes perfect, and so whether we might not be able to ultimately reach that perfection, we'll be damn near to it, and that's kind of what's most important right now. So the last thing I really want to talk about today is you don't know what's going on. You don't know, and so you don't know what could be coming to you. You don't know what has happened before, which you should know if you've been paying attention. But there are so many things that we are not aware of, and if we can try to either understand the situation that there are people going through some things that other people just simply cannot understand, that's the first step to trying to, I guess, open up this door that it's not just one perspective, it's multiple, and the more angles that you can see one object from, I think will give you a more global or a more understanding feeling towards communication or going about issues. And so the next song I want to play is simply one of my favorite songs that ever existed by an incredible artist, Jack Johnson, and especially during these times, listening to something as soothing and comfortable as Jack Johnson's voice can never do you any harm. But this next song is a little bit more upbeat, but the lyrics are actually very interesting. The song is called "Never Know," but it's all about what can you do in this current situation with all this madness going around, and then make the best out of it. So let me get it set up, and I'll try to talk to you about a couple of other things that I just want to comment on as I get this set up. All right, here we go. Awesome. So with this idea that you just never know, it's also important that we try our best to know and to stay prepared. And the best way to stay prepared is to stay educated. So whether it's reading some article you've never read before on a newspaper that you've never read before, reading a little bit about the history of some of your favorite heroes, or someone that you're interested in becoming or learning from. Those are some great ways to try to stay prepared to becoming the best version of yourself, as well as the best version of someone that we need in this world right now. I was having a conversation with my dad recently, who remains the best teacher I've ever had in my life, and continues to push me to think about some of the things that are most important during these times, and that can really lead to the best possible outcomes, not only short term but also long term. And we were having this discussion on humility and the importance of just being selfless in the sense of education. when you don't know what's going on in a conversation or in an argument, please do me a favor. Don't be shy to say that you don't know what's going on. There's so many positive things that can lead from this acceptance that you simply cannot understand what they're talking about. You can kind of dig it out of them. You can show more curiosity, and if that becomes habitual, then you will see that it becomes easier and easier and easier to open up to these ideas that you've never really given much thought about. And that's one of the most important things to becoming a better human being. So with that having been said, well, first of all, thanks, Dad, for continuing to be an outstanding mentor and also one of my heroes. I just love this guy. But beyond that, it's really important to stay in touch with those people that really can support you and give you the love that you might need during these times. And so kind of just to bring this full circle, there's a lot of things that you can do in an effort to find an outlet to get rid of that stress or some of that negative energy that you can do by yourself, or whether it's focusing on different aspects that you've maybe never focused on before. But when you run out of that room to kind of do anything by yourself, man, go for it. Talk to those people that you love. Talk to your friends. Listen to music that you love listening to. And beyond all, call your mom, call your dad, call your brother, call your sister, whoever's nearest and dearest to you. I don't have the privilege of being able to see my family that often. So if you're close by, never be shy to tell them how much they mean to you and how much you love them and how much you miss them. I guess this is my only way to do this, so this is my outlet. But anyone who's close to me that's watching this right now, man, sending all the love I can from Tokyo to wherever you are, and continue to see a brighter future as well as improvement in any possible way. So just to wrap things up, thank you so much to Tide FM for having me. Always a pleasure. It's so nice to be able to talk about some of the things I'm thinking about in such a comfortable studio, and they're excellent hosts here as well. Hope to get more involved with talking to you guys and kind of getting some thoughts out there, sharing some of my favorite music. There's not much that we can do right now, but with these constant changing circumstances, you can always try to find one thing or another to touch on or to try challenging. And above all, it's most important that we're staying safe and staying sane. Just be positive. That's all I ask. So thanks so much for having me. It's been an absolute pleasure. Talk to you guys soon. Stay tuned.